Toxic love requires perfection. Toxic love doesn't honor your glow. So regardless of how this ends up, with the certainty, with the audacious confidence that I'm grown enough, I'm a woman enough to handle anything that shows up here. Can you? Will you? Do you? And if not, red light, run. Period.
I want to paint a picture that so many of us women know only too well. You meet this guy who just seems perfect. He's charming, he's kind, he's attentive. But before you know it, that same man is lying, cheating, and manipulating you until you start to doubt your own reality. Now, Lisa, you've lived that pain, and yet here you are, a strong, powerful woman. So for anyone listening right now, what steps can she take to get back up and become dangerously confident?
So number one, when he sends in his representative is what I call him. He sent in his representative to be everything that he knew you wanted. And when that dissolves, because no one will keep the representative in the equation, it's too hard to maintain. And Lord knows, I've lived long enough in my 50s to say I've seen some representatives be replaced by the real thing that wasn't what I chose or what I have deserved. And I haven't always made the powerful decision, but in this season, understanding what courageous confidence looks like and unapologetic confidence looks like. Because when my son, who is now 30, when he was 3, I was in a relationship. And when I tell you, he appeared perfect. The number one question everyone would ask me is, does he have a brother? Like everyone. I mean, he was my knight in shining armor. He came in, swooped in to me as a single mom trying to decide how big she could live. And he complimented everything I wanted. So much so that we got engaged. And then inside the engagement, I started seeing signs, but I ignored them.
Do you mind breaking down what those signs were?
The kindness began to get shorter and shorter. And I started seeing moments of little mild bubble ups of anger and burst of anger. I never saw that before. Everything was calculated, everything was smooth. He would love on me and Jelani. He would listen intently. The listening stopped. He would overtalk me. And I got less and less of my ideas out, less and less of my truth out. The judgment began to increase. It didn't exist at first. And then the judgment, why'd you do it like that? And I don't like that. And all of a sudden, the tension, the intimacy began to shift a bit. I felt more obligated to make love to him and not desirous because of all of the negative energy around the moments. I didn't see it coming. I didn't know when it showed up. And I know I got signs. I'm clear I got signs, and I chose to ignore them in the mind. And this is not to judge anyone, but I really loved being in love. And I really loved being someone's fiance on my way to being his wife. And I really loved having someone help me with Jelani. And I really loved the idea and the image of family. Enough to ignore the signs. Enough to drown out the whisper with possibility. I can make it right. I can make him love me. We could get back to that moment when it was magical. I didn't know that it was magical because he had the representative showing up. And that this experience that I was experiencing now with the judgment and the burst of anger and the feeling alienated and the feeling judged, this was the norm that I was signing up for. I didn't know that until it became really clear. For me, it ended explosively. It ended with, after a night of what felt like bliss, he bathed me. I never had a man actually bathe me and wash me. And then we made love, and then he oiled my body, and then we went to sleep, and I woke up at 3:20 a.m. And I know that time because I looked over at the clock with his hands wrapped around my throat. He choked me until I passed out. And I woke up the next morning, later on in the morning, that same morning, and I thought that he had killed me. So I didn't even know I was alive still. I thought I woke up inside the other side. And when I realized I was alive still, all of a sudden, all the fear, my heart starts beating, all the fear came because I thought, did he kill me? And if he didn't kill me, did he kill Jelani? Was it the murder-suicide? Like, it literally was that deep. I jumped up and I ran to Jelani's room. And I started shaking Jelani. He was 3 years old. His body was limp. And for a moment, I said, if this man killed my son, then he might as well have killed me. And I'm shaking Jelani, Jelani, Jelani. And Jelani's body is just flopping around. And finally, Jelani goes, what, Mommy? And I could breathe again. And I said, I'm sorry, baby, go back to sleep, sorry. I can smell him cooking breakfast downstairs. And I said, if he admits that he just made a huge mistake, then I'm gonna be okay. I need to leave him. But at least I'm not in danger. Because if he acts like nothing happened, then I'm really in danger. Because now we got some psychological stuff going on, or I've never been here before. So I go downstairs and he's cooking eggs and bacon and potatoes as if nothing had happened. And I walk up to him and I said, good morning. And he turned around and I'm hoping he says, baby, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I lost it. He turns around and he says, good morning, sweetie. I made breakfast for you. You need to eat. It's gonna be a long day, maybe. He had me so confused. And that's the thing about a manipulator. That's the thing about someone who sociopath or bipolar, that they can make you believe in the moment that everything's okay. He had me so confused with the way he was treating me right there in that moment that I said, did I dream this? And it can make you question yourself. So much so I went into the bathroom and I started checking my neck. And you see me, I'm chocolate. I had welts on my neck that were burgundy. And I knew, you're not dreaming. You didn't dream. You didn't have a nightmare. This man choked you until you passed out. And now he's acting like nothing happened. And at that moment, I entered the fight of my life.
All right, guys, we'll be right back with Lisa. But real quick, if you're done playing small, done being pushed around, and you're ready to build unshakable confidence in every area of your life, then smash that subscribe button right now. Every episode of Women of Impact is here to help you build your confidence, own your worth, set boundaries, and make sure you never lose your voice or power again. So go ahead, smash the subscribe button. Now, back to the episode.
So to answer your question, it took me 3 months to get him out of my house willingly. I had to act like nothing had happened. He acted like nothing had happened. And I said, okay, I'll act like nothing happened as well while I strategize how to get you out of my life. Because I also had a clear indication that I was in danger. I was in big danger, Lisa. And so I act like nothing happened. I told everyone after I finally got him out that I won an Oscar award. I played along while strategizing how to get out. I wasn't gonna allow this 6'9", 278-pound man, all muscle. I was not going to allow him to know that I was planning on my exit strategy. Everyone's situation isn't like that. For some women or men, you just need to choose to leave. I knew I needed to strategize. After I got him out, I realized I had lost Lisa. I had lost Lisa. I was a wreck. My worth was crushed. And I needed to rebuild my worth. And for someone listening, you may need to rebuild or you may need to build it for the first time. It doesn't matter. Building worth is building worth. And I realized I had lost myself. I didn't know who Lisa was anymore. She was broken. I felt like I brought it on myself. A part of me felt like I deserved it. I didn't think anyone would love me after this. Now I got one more notch of messiness and nastiness to add to all the original stuff. Government assistance, overweight, all the stuff I already had in my history. Now I got this. And I didn't want to wear another label called abused woman. So here are the things I did. Number one, I got in the mirror and I said every day 3 things. Every day, and for her, developing her worth, the first sentence is, Lisa, I'm proud that you. And every day I found 7 things to be proud of myself for. And some days it was, Lisa, I'm proud that you got out of bed. Lisa, I'm proud that you brushed your teeth today. Lisa, I'm proud that you fed Jelani a decent breakfast. It was small wins. Second sentence is, Lisa, I forgive you for. That one, girl, that was a gut punch every day. Lisa, I forgive you for being so desperate to have relationships that when you found out that he wasn't right, you still stayed. Lisa, I forgive you for lowering your bar. Lisa, I forgive you for gaining 100 pounds. Lisa, I forgive you for not running for the hills at the first sign. Every day, I'm in a messy way, girl. I did the ugly cry every day when I did, Lisa, I forgive you for Lisa. I mean, I couldn't even understand myself. I was inaudible, but I knew what I was saying. And every day I did it, 7 different things. And the last is, Lisa, I commit to you that. I couldn't believe my commitments because I was so in my brokenness, but I needed to say it so I can see the light at the end of the tunnel and know like I know my light is not a train coming at me. My light was really light, and it was a flicker, Lisa. It was a small light, but it was enough. I was like, okay, Lisa, I commit to you that tomorrow I'll do this again. Lisa, I commit to you that I'll learn to love you first before I look for love from anyone else. Lisa, I commit to you that I won't get consumed with judgment of self today. So when you ask me, I just started pouring into Lisa, and I focused on Lisa. And that was my crawl.
That's the powerful thing. Okay, so that's your crawl. I want to actually go a step right before you learn how to crawl, where you can barely move.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd mentioned it before, you saw the red flags that you ignored, that we ignore our gut instinct, that we dismiss things, and confusion. I think that was such a powerful word.
Mm-hmm.
How many people feel them confused? And the fact that you said you had to go look in the mirror to see if it was actually real. How many people gaslight?
Yeah.
We gaslight ourselves.
Yeah.
We make up stories, like maybe I did imagine it. Maybe it was a dream.
We excuse the behavior.
And so I've actually got a list of a couple of things
Yeah.
where it can be considered either very clear or a little confusing. And I'd love for you to help us think through how on earth do we know? So how do we know if it's passionate or if it's toxic love?
Toxic love has you feeling the tension of proving. Toxic love will have you feel the anxiety of having to keep up with something in order to keep the love. Toxic love has conditions, right? Healthy love has complement and spaciousness for you to expand and contract and grow and shrink. Toxic love requires perfection. So if you're nervous, scared to make mistakes because mistakes are punitive in your relationship and perfect is a necessity, that's toxic love. Because healthy love allows you to expand and contract. It allows you to grow. It allows you to be messy. Toxic love doesn't give permission for messy. It requires perfection. Toxic love also will have you being afraid to glow too much. Toxic love doesn't honor your glow. And so if you find yourself modifying or measuring your light, like, I like my light, I'll let my light shine, but not too bright, then you're in a toxic relationship. So understand the relationship is a relay. Relationship. It's not racquetball where you're hitting against the wall. It's like tennis. It's going back and forth. So if when you hit the ball, you have to modify the way you hit to make sure you don't get penalized, then you're in a toxic relationship. A toxic relationship has you worried about the outcome and the repercussions of being you, doing you. And so if you find that you're measuring how bright you shine your light, how honestly you speak your truth, because a healthy relationship allows your truth to be spoken even when it's uncomfortable, even when it might hurt a bit. You know, I just got married. I haven't been married long, but I just got married. I say just 3 years ago at the time that we're recording this.
Newlyweds though, which I love.
I am. And my husband isn't perfect, nor am I. But I love the progress I see in us because now we have, and we've always been able to, I'm just getting the courage because I've always been healing from old relationships, old toxic relationships, that I gave my husband some feedback recently. Honey, it would feel better for me if you did this. And when you do this, it makes me feel this way. And I braced myself for his response. And inside of 15 minutes, I got a response back. And the first line was, thank you. Thank you for the mirror. I didn't see that. Show me. Help me to see because I'm not looking through your lenses. And I went, whoa. Reminding myself again and again, you're in a healthy relationship. This one is okay to speak your truth in. And speaking your truth doesn't come with timeout, a love takeaway. It doesn't come with being penalized by silence. And so recognizing that a healthy response to you looks like this. And so this is a good time for you to go, what does a healthy exchange look like? Am I getting that? And if it's a no, it's a no. It's either a yes or a no. There's no gray area in that.
So make it completely binary.
Make it completely binary. Is it yes or no? And not being afraid of the I'm not getting what I need. And, 20 years ago, I loved passionate relationships that were actually toxic.
Right.
And the passion was the fire, and we say we're twin flames, but we're chaotic when we're together. Passion is wonderful, but when passion costs you your joy, like to the degree of the passion is to the degree of the pain, like you don't need to exchange passion for pain to have passion. You get to have passion and joy, passion and peace. Passion and peace can coexist. So if you're having passion and pain, passion and chaos, passion and mess, like don't fool yourself to believe that one has to have the other. You get to have passion and peace. You get to have passion and light. You get to have passion and joy, passion and honor. It's your birthright to have both. You don't have to live in an either or experience. And it took me a while to get that. I thought that in order to have the passion, I just got to accept this part too. I just got to accept this part too.
It's like the side effects.
It's a side. You can't have it all. Actually, sis, you can. Actually, all is your birthright. All is your birthright. Not if or, it's and with. Period. And if they're not giving you that, complete that relationship. Because when you don't, you can never have all that you deserve in the space of all that you're accepting. My father took me on my first date when I was 12, and he took me out to the marina, and he opened the door for me, and he ordered the food that I wanted, and he ordered me a Shirley Temple, and he engaged me in great conversation, and he listened until I finished my sentences. And at the end of the date, as we're going into the house, my dad opened the door, and I looked up at him, and he said, "Sweetheart, tonight Daddy took you out on your first date so that you get to see how you get to be treated. Now, as you grow up, you'll need to choose how you're treated." I didn't get it at 12, but boy, at 21, when I chose to go out with that guy because he had a red Corvette, and Corvettes were in at the time. He had a red Corvette.
And the rims and the speakers.
And he was balling. And you know, in the 80s, when you were balling, you were balling. He was balling, and I went out on a date with him, and he was dismissive, and he was, that's when the pagers were out. I'm dating myself. And he's answering his page, and he's not attentive. The only measure I had was having evidence of how I get to be treated. He came back from his third phone call at the phone booth. We didn't have cell phones. He kept leaving the table and going to the phone booth. He came back after his third phone call, and I was gone. I had called a taxi. My daddy always gave me WAM money, walk around money, WAM, WAM money. I had called a taxi cab home. And by the time I got to my front door, he was pulling up in my driveway. And he said, "How could you leave me?" I said, "Easy. My father showed me how I get to be treated. And that wasn't up to my par." Now, since then, after that, I lowered my bar. But at least I knew where the bar should be, where it could be. And so I invite you, if you know where the bar is, don't be afraid. I had to get the bodacious courage. I had to have the audacity to be confident enough about who I am, to recognize I woke up enough, smart enough, pretty enough, young enough, in my full figuredness, still sexy enough to deserve to be treated.
Coming up.
If you don't feel you have input in the influence and the outcome, then it's not a collaboration, it's a controlling relationship.
Let's talk about mornings. They sound really good in theory, right? You wake up early, you go do your workout, you have a nourishing breakfast, you got a plan. But in reality, when you're scrambling, you're half dressed, you're running late, your alarm doesn't go off, you're just surviving on coffee and sheer freaking willpower. And then we wonder why we're absolutely exhausted by noon or why our skin's just acting up. And that's why I started to reach for Paleo Valley's grass-fed bone broth protein. One scoop, and I know that I'm giving my body exactly what it needs. It's got protein, it's got collagen, it supports my gut before the chaos of the day even begins. Now, Tom and I absolutely love the chocolate flavor. It tastes amazing, like actually dessert for breakfast. And the best part, right now, it's buy one and you get one totally free. So if you're ready to give your mornings a little upgrade, hit that link in the show notes and grab it, because starting your day strong isn't a luxury. It's the foundation for everything you need to be able to show up for the day with confidence. What's so powerful in that story is how you went from, you got shown how a man really should treat you. Then over time, that dissipated.
Yeah.
And I think that dissipation comes from our feelings towards someone. So he treats you well, he takes you on a lovely day, he's charming. That's why I started there.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you think, oh my God, he's actually a great guy.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think then you start to slowly, the bar doesn't just drop,
Yeah.
the bar slowly starts to nudge.
Yeah.
Before you realize it, your bar is so low, but you haven't noticed
Yeah.
it. And so when it comes to that confusion between passionate and toxicity, they're so intertwined that I think sometimes we get ourselves confused.
And then the other thing is that we're nurturers. And the reality is, stop trying to heal someone who keeps hurting you. And we want to save. We can make them better. We are saying yes to the version of them that we believe we can help them to become versus who's in front of us. The first thing, though, is heal thyself. Because if you feel like you have a gap in you, you're going to accept something that you don't have to accept because you're trying to fill the gap. Like, it wasn't until, when you talk about the crawl was, I needed to accept Lisa. I needed to heal Lisa. Because the more you heal yourself, the more you fill your tank, the more you honor and celebrate and love your shadow. Love your shadow. The more you love your shadow, the more you will require in your light. The more you will hold the bar. Hold the bar. But I needed to, she needs to, we get to go, hold on. Let me go love those dysfunctional parts of myself. Let me be okay with shining a light on that part of me. When I shined a light on my shadow and I looked at my shadow and I stopped trying to outrun my imperfection. I stopped trying to outrun my breakdowns. And I don't wear them. I don't wear them like a desperate perfume, because desperation is a stinky perfume to wear. I stopped wearing it like a perfume, and I started understanding and looking at, this is my shadow and I'm still whole. This is my shadow. Let me shine a light on it and let me do some work on it. Let me try to not outrun it, out makeup it, out earn it. There's not an amount of money I can make that makes that shadow, go away. Let me embrace all of me. Now in that, I naturally began to require more from my partner. I naturally begin to stop when something doesn't feel good. My silence only hurts me. Your silence only hurts you. Your voice has a right to be heard. Your truth has a right to be spoken. Because I was queen of swallowing my truth, queen of swallowing my hurt. So much so that I think I had developed at some point an ulcer. But it wasn't an ulcer from medical. It wasn't an ulcer because I ate too much spicy food. I don't eat spicy food. It was an ulcer because I swallowed my truth too much. So sis, if your throat hurts, it might not be an infection. It might be a buildup of your truth.
You know, I just thought what you were saying, especially about the shadow thing. We so try to escape our shadow that we end up going into the dark to eliminate the shadow. And I think that you can't step into the light if you haven't addressed why that shadow is there.
Yeah.
Whew, that just really hit me.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'd love to go to the next one, girl,
Yeah.
because this one I think a lot of us struggle with. How do we know the difference between someone caring for you or someone controlling you?
So, a controller, you first must know a controller knows he or she is a controller. They know they're a controller. And they know how to manage the environment so that controlling feels good. Now, first, controlling can show up as protective. Controlling can show up as generous. Like if someone wants to control what you wear, they'll buy you a lot of clothes.
Oh.
Watch out.
And you think it's caring.
Oh, and they buying you clothes. And you want to show, look at what my boo bought me. Look at what my boo bought me, right? Controlling is a manipulation of the environment. So if you're freed of making decisions, you're also out of choice. So watch out. Controlling feels as if it's taking care of things for you. And that's fine. That's great. Like my husband took care of my breakfast this morning for me before I came to you. He made my shake, right? But I had the right to say, babe, can you put something else in that shake, right? So if you feel like, number one, with controlling, you don't have the spaciousness to shift what the environment or the thing that's being controlled looks like. So do you have space to modify the circumstance? Do you have spaciousness? Is it safe, emotionally safe, for you to change things? If it's not, we're in a controlling environment. Do you feel like you can include other people in the equation, or is there a sense of isolation? Because controlling happens in isolation because a controller doesn't want anyone else's opinions around. So watch out. Oh, and I've been in this relationship before where they begin to make the relationships around you toxic so that you pull away from them. A controller loves you on an island, not in a community. Watch out, because it can look like real intense love as well. They love intensely. They care. They're attentive to you. Because if they're attentive to you, then you're attentive to them, then no one else can fit in. And so give yourself permission. Use your voice. Do I really like that? Do I not like that? Do I want to have options? You deserve options. I'm not saying you deserve options in people and all. You deserve options in what you eat. You deserve options in where you live. You deserve options in what you do. You deserve options in where you vacation. And because we're taught as women to have a man take care of us, watch out. Take care of us. What does that look like? What does that feel like? Taking care of me does not mean making all my decisions. It does not mean that. It means complementing my completeness. It means being a container for how I feel and what I do. It means wrapping your arms around me in my biggest moment and in my smallest moment. Taking care of me does not mean making my decisions for me.
What if, though, in that moment, it does feel good? So I'm going to give you an example. I interviewed Mel B, Scary Spice, and she was in a relationship where she thought her husband was the most amazing thing ever. And he would turn around and he's like, baby, let me do the finances for you. I'm better at math than you. You're very busy. You're on all these shows. You're touring. Let me take care of it. She thought, amazing.
Yeah.
He's so sweet. He's
Partnership.
considerate. Partnership. He's taken it off my plate. Now, spoiler alert, 10 years later, he steals every penny of her money. She divorces him. She has to move back with her mum. So when I spoke to her, she was like, yes, in that moment, it was relieving. So how do you know in those moments whether it's a genuine offer from your partner or it's a mechanism for them to control you down the line?
Healthy accountability, have space in it. My husband leads things in my home, but I am informed about it. Let's talk about it. Let's look at it. So having healthy accountability around everything. So check-ins. There's any part of your life that matters to you, you should have eyes on it, even if you're not running it. There's a willingness, because in that situation, at any point, if she said, let's have a moment. I've carved out an hour to look at all of the finances and where it goes, an hour a month. You'll get feedback and pushback or excuses. Normally it's, oh, babe, you don't have time. No, I actually scheduled it. I actually do have time. So being a part of it, you may not lead it, but being an active part of it. And you could see if someone's controlling that area, because if you have an idea or make a recommendation, how is it received? How is it received? I'm real big on energy and disposition. And I make a lot of my final decisions about someone's intention based on their disposition. And disposition will tell you a lot. So I've carved out, this is one of the things I do, I've carved out an hour a month to review that thing that you're leading. Now you can carve out as many hours a month to review the things I'm leading so that we have shared accountability. To me, if someone's controlling something in a toxic way or in a controlling way or in a way that's not gonna, they don't want you to look at it. They don't want you to see it. They don't want someone else to see it. And so I look at that. So healthy accountability, all eyes on everything. I don't have to lead everything, but I look at each thing in a timely manner. My schedule is my schedule. I'm never too busy to do the things that matter to me. It took me a while to get there, to realize that I can book everything in my schedule. Book check and balances in your schedule. Open book policy around the finances, around the future investing, around child rearing. It's collaboration. A relationship is a relay. It's a collaboration. If you don't feel like you're a collaborative partner, if you don't feel you have input in the influence and the outcome, then it's not a collaboration. It's a controlling relationship. Do you have input? Does your input actually manifest into an outcome? Or are you holding your truth? And remember that when you're in a relationship like this, or you've been in one, the best thing to do as you're navigating through it or on the other side of it is to heal so that you don't have to repeat that lesson again. Otherwise, we find ourselves asking the question, how did I get here again? We got there again because we didn't heal. We didn't heal from the experience, we didn't heal from the lesson, or we didn't heal from the trauma that actually got us in that relationship and that experience in the first place. And therefore, we have to repeat the lesson again. You'll keep repeating the same hurt until you learn the lesson and you live like you've learned the lesson. And now you will see it forthcoming and you can avoid it. And I needed to learn that. I found myself in the same experience 3 times until I start working on Lisa and healing Lisa. Then I could see it earlier. And then I can politely say, no, thank you.
Girl, knowing where you started and how freaking badass and confident you are now, like I am loving this so much.
Yeah.
Okay, I got another one. So how do you know if it's trust or just blind faith? Let's say, for instance, somebody cheats on you and they're like, baby, I'm never gonna do it again.
Yeah.
They've broken your trust,
Yes.
but a lot of women have faith they're going to change.
So when someone's broken your trust, it's not your responsibility to blindly extend it again. It's not. It's not your responsibility to blindly extend trust that hasn't been earned. I don't care if you say it's for the sake of the kids, for the sake of the business, for the sake of the optics. If someone has broken your trust, it's not your job. It's their job to be consistent in integrity. And integrity cannot be compromised. Integrity doesn't live in the gray. Are they in integrity or in excuses? Because if they're giving you excuses to replace integrity, they haven't earned your trust again. And don't give trust where trust hasn't been earned. Boy, that was a lesson Lisa had to learn. And I'm not saying make someone work hard for the sake of working hard. Work hard because this is worth it for you. Work hard. I remember telling my husband when we were dating, I love him. I love you, honey. I said, how hard have you ever worked for a relationship? And he thought about it. And he said, I don't think I've worked hard. He was very honest. And I was honest. I said, this one is going to require some work. And you can decide if you want to work that hard. It's going to require your effort. It's going to require you to put something in. And I realize that as women, we don't want to make it too hard on our partners because we actually don't want them to leave.
Oh, yeah.
Because we actually are afraid to be by ourselves. So all of it comes back to us. See, I was okay with being by myself. I know Lisa now. I like Lisa now. I've dated Lisa by herself for a while. I don't want to be by myself necessarily. I love partnership. But if I end up alone because this one, for a while, because this one isn't the relationship, I'm actually okay with that. Because I know me and I'm not afraid of being with me. I like me. So based on that, here's the bar. I'm not going to lower the bar. I'm going to invite you to practice your jump shot. I've lowered the bar enough. I know what that lands me. I know what that landed me in the doctor's office getting Prozac. So I'm not going to lower my bar. I'm going to invite you to work for this relationship. So if you've lost my trust, work to regain it. I'm not going to make excuses for it because integrity requires no excuses. Integrity is not in the gray. And so, but it all leads back to, not that I have faith that you're going to change. I have faith that I'll survive whatever happens. So that right there.
Sorry, I had to give that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'm going to stop putting so much over there and I'm going to put some over here. And I'm going to allow you to be the person you've always been. I'm going to allow you to be the person you choose to be. And I'm going to be okay. So make a choice. And so it's stop trying to control and manipulate the relationship so that you can stay in it. When I realized the power, your power is in releasing it to be whatever it's going to be. I'm not saying disown it. I'm not saying sabotage it. I'm not saying let it go. I'm not saying lose faith. And I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying give the spaciousness without compromising the requirement. Give the spaciousness without compromising the requirement. Being in a relationship with me based on who I know myself to be requires this. It requires that I not make excuses for your behavior. It requires that I make sure I understand that I can only heal me. I can't heal you. It requires that trust be earned, not arbitrarily and randomly given. And then the spaciousness to see who shows up and how this relationship ends based on how we show up. Understanding that and the knowing, I know, that's the faith that I'm going to be all right, regardless of how this ends up. That spaciousness with the certainty, with the confidence, the bodacious, audacious confidence that I'm grown enough, I'm a woman enough to handle anything that shows up here. And here's what I require. Here's what loving me looks like. Here is what loving me looks like. I extend the invitation to you to love me. And here's what loving me looks like in this season. So don't love me based on a 1997 outline of me, because I'm a grown woman and this is what she requires. Can you? Will you? Do you? And if not, I'm going to be all right. Period. Love is not a rescue mission. Love is not a rescue mission. It's a partnership. So if you are always being rescued 911, did you marry him? Did you get in a relationship with him or her to save them or to be a partner with them? Because whatever you signed up for is what you're doing. And does that serve you? I'll just say that love is not a rescue mission. I had to learn that. I love rescuing. I love healing. I love healing because I'm a healer. That's the business I'm in. I help people's hearts. So I have to make sure I'm not getting in my relationship to heal them. I'm getting in a relationship to be a partner with them.
Yeah, the trap is when you start healing them or you start to see that they're healing, you get the joy, you get that fulfillment. And so it almost becomes a bit more of a fuel of like, oh, I can fix them. And so you go even deeper and before you know, you give yourself over to them completely.
And the reality is you can't save someone who refuses to swim. That's the reality. That's the reality. And how arrogant is it of us? It really is an arrogant move that's cloaked in like this martyr, server. I just love helping people. How arrogant is it of us to believe that we can save someone who refuses to swim? And I'm not making them wrong. This is not about a make wrong. That they are clear on who they are. And your job is to get clear on who they are. And you don't have to stop loving someone who's toxic and loving someone who doesn't want to swim. You don't have to stop loving them. You just need to love them from a comfortable distance. Or you just need to love yourself more. You are the first line of love for you. No one can love you more than you love yourself. And that is unfair of you to expect someone to love you more than you're loving yourself. And I'm saying this because I had to learn this lesson, y'all. No judgment in my statements. But I would love people because they loved me. And then I try to love me the way they love me because I wasn't loving me the way they were loving me. But when they stopped loving me because I wasn't the person that they needed me to be or whatever, when they stopped loving me, then I was left even with more lack and more void and more. Now, after that broken relationship, I was like double, triple broken. It's because I didn't heal myself before I went into the relationship. And when you realize that no one's going to love you more than you're loving yourself, and you are giving them an example of how to love you, are you giving them the best example possible? Are you loving on your body? Are you loving on your face and your skin? Are you loving on your hair? Are you loving on yourself the way you sleep? Are you loving on yourself based on how you set boundaries? Because if you're not loving on you, then you're giving them an example of how to not love you. That right there, Lisa, that was hard. It was hard for me to get that I had to be the first example of what healthy love for me, with me, looked like. My husband only knows how to make my shake in the morning because my husband has witnessed me consistently make my shake in the morning. I didn't know. I didn't know how I needed to be the first bold, confident example of what healthy love looked like with me.
The last time you were on the show, you said something that broke me so much in a beautiful way. And I'd love to it feels really right to bring this back up. And I don't know if I've told you this actually. So, I mean, we've been friends for like 10 years.
Yeah.
So you say things, it really resonates because I'm very present and I just admire and respect you so much.
Amen. Thank you, sis.
The last time you were on the show, you were talking about that we don't respect ourselves. And you had told me the story where you had to start loving yourself and you had to start by looking at your own body and loving on your body. And I remember you saying, these were the legs that carried me. I insult my tummy, but this is the tummy that grew my son. You know, I hate my sagging breasts or something like you said, but these were the breasts that fed my son. And so here, how can I hate something that has given so much joy? And I remember that moment. Once you left, my husband wasn't here. So I go upstairs and I was all by myself. And I looked in the mirror and I broke down crying because the amount of times I look in the mirror and I insult myself subconsciously without even realizing it. How can I turn to my husband and want my husband to glow on me and say that I look beautiful and oh my God, baby, you're so hot and your body's amazing when I am ripping my body to shreds every time I look in the mirror?
You want him to outlove the way you're loving you.
Yeah. And I remember what you had said on the interview that I then did in practice, which was so beautiful. You said you started to just hug.
I did.
And that's exactly what I did. I looked in the mirror after our last interview and I literally just hugged on my body and I burst into tears. And it was the first time I was like, how do we say that we want something and we're not even willing to do it for ourselves?
Thank you for that reflection. That was a journey for me. I was obese for 19 years and I was morbidly obese for 4 years. And I realized that I judged myself so much and I had so much body shame. And I had skin tone frustration, you know, because I for many years, I love my mocha skin now, love it, love it, love it, but I wasn't always there. I had hair frustration, my lips. Everyone wasn't always getting lip fillers. In second grade, they weren't popular. And so I hated my lips. And I realized that how could I ask someone to love something that I was judging so harshly? And even though the harsh words didn't come out of my mouth, it was all in my body. It was in my energy. It was in my ecosystem.
It was up here.
It was up here. And your life is going to show up the way your mind is processing. And so the process you're talking about, I think I went to a fat farm. They didn't call it that. It was a health and wellness retreat, but when I got there, I realized everyone there was overweight and everyone there was trying to lose weight and everyone there was dealing with toxicity in their bodies. And I went there for a month and in the morning, they invited you to run a mile or power walk a mile and I couldn't. And so I sat in the little, room that you do exercises in. And I just sat there and I looked at my body and that's when I became present, that there wasn't a part of my body that I didn't judge. And I sat quietly and I just said feet and I did shins and I did knees. And I apologized to each part of my body. I apologized knees for judging you. I apologized thighs. I apologized stomach. All of my midsection was the part that I had to apologize. And I just sat there and cried. And I apologize to my breasts for judging them so much. And I thank them for being the breast that fed Jelani and the stomach that carried Jelani and the hips that walked me over 1,000 miles. And I just got back whole. I got in order with my body. I got in order, before I can give this body to someone else or this mind to someone else, I first gave it back to me. And so, yeah, the journey into a healthy relationship starts with the journey back to you. Like, you are going to be in a relationship with you for the rest of your life. How does that relationship feel first? Brakes on somebody else. Brakes on Marcellus, my husband, Tom, your husband, brakes on them first. Does the relationship with Lisa feel good? And if that doesn't, sis, run toward that relationship feeling good. Don't finish this podcast and go run and make declarations to your partner. We're going to do this now, and you got to do this now, and I learned that I deserve this now, and don't do that. When this video completes, run to the mirror. Run to the first relationship that got you into all your subsequent relationships. Because I realized that the Lisa I was walked into every relationship based on who she was at the time. Lisa I am walks continuously into the relationship that I'm in right now. So if that relationship is not feeling good, go back to the person that walked in it. Because when you heal, when you honor, when you fill the cup, when you fill the cup that's you, and you stop serving from, like, when this cup is filled, you're going to love from your overflow. But when the cup is empty, you love from lack, period. So go get an overflow. Get an overflow, because when you're in overflow, you naturally require someone to match that energy.
When I think about, you said this before, this word hits me very well, by the way, audacious confidence.
Audacious.
When people look at you with the audacious confidence that you have, it's this. It's the fact that you had to, and I say had on purpose, because otherwise it could have been life or death for you.
Like, yeah, like you're saying it just like, it's a good trigger, like audaciously confident, unapologetically confident, non-negotiable with your confidence. And it makes you willing. I'm willing to go further because I know what got me here. I know the walk I had to walk. So being here was intentional. And being here and going forward is non-negotiable. So I'm not looking for external approval. I woke up this morning and approved myself. I don't run out to social media to check how my day is going to be based on the number of likes I have. I woke up this morning and liked myself. Every other like is a bonus. I love it, but it's a bonus. So when you, and I'm not saying that in an arrogant way, I'm saying that in the most humble way. I fought hard for this, Lisa. I fought my own limiting beliefs. I fought my own brokenness. I fought other people's perception of me. I fought the label called functionally dyslexic. I fought the label called single mom. I fought the label called government's assistance recipient, South Central resident. I fought a whole lot of labels to get to this woman. And when you do that kind of work, in the most humble way I say, it's audacious confidence that you gain. I got in the mirror every day because I said, everywhere you go, there you are. You will never outrun you, Lisa. So let's get comfortable with the Lisa that steps in the room. I used to question myself when I stepped in every room. I was normally one of few women and normally one of very few African Americans in the room. So I'd question myself. I'd measure myself. I'd compete. And every time you compete with someone else or you compare, you lose. You lose. Either you grandize yourself too much and think you all that, or either you say you're not enough. So I stopped comparing. But the only way you can stop comparing is to work on you, that I walk in every room that I walk into whole and complete, an unapologetic contribution to the room. I walk in every room, whether my prayer is contribution, whether my silence and holding the space is contribution, whether my thoughts are contribution, or whether the sheer presence that I bring is contribution. And that's in a relationship too. I bring contribution to my relationship. So I require contribution from that relationship. But it first starts with what I know, like I know what I bring. And that goes back to the faith. Mm-hmm. I have faith. I have faith in who I am in the relationship, and I trust me in the relationship. Therefore, I require that you earn my trust and honor my trust that I've given. And if trust is broken, then we talk about it.
Yeah. So for you to be able to say all that and do all that is clearly a reflection of the fact that you had to leave that toxic relationship.
Yes.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have given you the space for you to build yourself, your self-worth, so that you can be audaciously confident. I'm just going to use that all the time now, by the way. I love it. And so I think that really is the hard thing for people to navigate. When is it time to leave, or when is it actually time to fight for the relationship? Because I think there's a real fine line between hope and heartbreak.
Yeah.
And so I've created a little game for us called Stay, Wait, or Run Like Hell.
Oh.
And so I'm going to give you some real life scenarios, and you're going to tell us if it's green light, which means this is healthy love, if it's yellow light, which means pause and look deeper, or if it's red light, and that basically means you need to get the hell out.
I love it.
So scenario number 1, he disappears for a few days, then comes back saying, I just needed space.
Yellow light with requirements. Mm-hmm. And full dialogue, full transparency, and if it happens again, run like hell.
All right. Okay, next scenario. You find messages on his phone from another woman, and he says, we're just friends.
I'm a run like hell because there's always, when there's another woman and not transparency.
So in other words, if he said, hey, babe, I have this friend when you first meet
Exactly.
them, and so you don't have to explain it down the road.
Exactly. I don't wait until you crash to say the car wasn't safe, right? So the car shows the car. Like if it has no wheels, if it has no doors, you'll see that. But I don't, when I was dating Marcellus, there was a situation with another woman, and I was told by one person that there was another woman in his life, and I brought it up to him, and he immediately called her.
In front of you?
In front of me.
Oh my God, that's so good.
And put her on speaker and said, when was the last time we dated? She was like, about 18 months ago. Who am I to you? How long has it been? When was the last time we went out? Like he just asked her, and he didn't tell her that I was sitting next to her, him. He just acted as if they're having a conversation, and she was 18 months, but I really like you. He goes, okay, and I'm in a relationship now. And so the forthrightness and the transparency. So there was a yellow light, and then the yellow light was dissolved by his behavior.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Had you seen that in a past relationship where then he actually had cheated on you, and that's why you put the yellow light?
Yes. So I said everything you already said. I've experienced, and she's just a friend. She's just a friend. She's just a friend. But there was no transparency in let us talk, or talk to her in front of me. Or how, there was a withhold. There was always a withhold, and I kept justifying the withhold because I wanted the relationship.
What did those justifications look like?
He's allowed to have friends, and I don't need to talk to her. And if I was confident, if I was trusting, then I wouldn't be asking these questions. So let me extend the trust to him and let me trust him. When in fact, he hadn't earned that trust. But so I'm just giving it away again, and he hadn't earned it. And then when it came out that they're in a full-on relationship, and I was actually the other woman.
What?
I was like, I'm the other woman.
Wait. Okay, you got to tell me this story.
Scooby-Doo. I'm the other woman. I was in a relationship, I thought, and I don't need social proof. Because I think I always prided myself. This was a part of it. I think a sister's going to relate to this. And if you can relate to this, let me know. I prided myself in being low maintenance. / no maintenance. Mm-hmm. And the reality is I was low maintenance / no maintenance because I didn't feel I was worthy of effort. Let's talk about that. But that's that was what I learned on the other side, was that you're trying to be low maintenance so that he keeps choosing you. And the reality is you need to put work into this. You need to put effort into this. I don't need to just know you love me. you get to show me you love me. Demonstrative love is better than silent love. So that whole statement, you know I love you. You're right. Show me. Show me in the way you make me a cup of coffee. Show me in the way you scratch my back. Show me in the way when I come in for the same long day that you came in from, that I got some dinner waiting for me. Show me. I had to grow into that. And so in this relationship, I was low maintenance. And so I didn't require a lot. And so I was somebody's sidekick chick. I was like, what? And he would say, it's my friend, it's my friend, it's my friend. He'd go away. He'd disappear for days. I was busy. I go, he's just busy. I'm queen of excuses. Like, I'm a linguistic specialist. So when it comes to language, I can make some sexy excuses up for me and for you. And I would excuse his disappearing. I'd excuse his texting on the side. I excuse that. I'd honor his privacy. I want to honor his privacy instead of requiring full transparency. I would share with you who I'm talking to, but I didn't require it for you to do the same. And I'm not I'm not a jealous girl. I'm not any of that. But in all of me saying I wasn't all of that, I also didn't require transparency because I thought it looked like insecurity. Ooh.
Say more on that.
I didn't require transparency because I thought it looked like insecurity, and I was so trying to look secure and so trying to look confident and so try to be easy and so trying to be effortless that it was easy to make me the sidekick chick. It was easy. I made it easy because I didn't require anything. And I would jokingly make snide comments about the woman that required a lot. Well,
yeah, you're looking down at her.
She's getting a lot because she asked for what she wants. I used to say, oh, I make good dinners. I make good meals, and I cook all the meals. And I realized I also make good reservations. I make good dinner reservations as well. I wasn't that. And so it was easy for him. And when I found out that I was the side relationship.
Do you mind sharing how you found out?
I found out because she called one day when we were together, and I said his name at the same time that he picked up the phone. I said his name, so she heard me. And I heard the way he was responding to her. And I could hear, first of all, I heard a different tone in his voice because he wanted to make her happy. He was afraid of losing her. That's what I could pick up. Now that I see healthy love and I relate with my husband, I go, oh, she was the main thing. And so she required him to put the speaker on. And he knew that if he hung up, that there was a repercussion with her. And the way he looked at me, wanting me to not create disruption over there. And even in that moment, Lisa, I was trying to find a way to help him not get in trouble. Again, you got to love yourself enough. And at the moment, I wanted love more than I wanted to do the work on me. So she must have said something like, put me on speaker, I want to talk to whoever that is. Because she must have felt something too. And he said, she's just a friend.
About you?
About me. Oh. She's just a friend. But I noticed he was trying to coach me in the moment of what I'm about to say to her. And girl, for 8 seconds, I was gonna comply with what he said so that he's still cool. And so he puts me on speaker and she said, hello. And I said, hello. She said, who is this? And you know, it could have been, could have been in any movie that we've seen. I said, "This is Lisa," and she said, "Who are you to such and such? Who are you to him?" And the 8 seconds, I was gonna say just a friend, because he's like looking at me, and I had already started doing some work on myself, and it took me a minute, and because I knew I was about to explode everything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I knew tomorrow was not gonna look like yesterday. I took a deep breath, and I said, as far as I knew, I was his girlfriend.
Did you really?
I did. And I knew in that moment that I was the secret.
Yeah.
And I also knew in that moment that he was going to suffer the repercussions from her, and he has some from me too. I said, as far as I knew, I was the girlfriend. And she said, really? For how long? And I said, for about 8 months. And she said, well, did he tell you that I'm the wife?
Oh, so he's married. Oh my God.
And I said, no. She said, I'm the wife, and we are separated, but we're still connected, and we're still working on our marriage. And I immediately leaned my energy to her. Because what I'm not going to do is fight with a woman who didn't know about me and I didn't know about her because of his lack of integrity. And I felt the moment I leaned into the growth that I had made, the moment I said, what's your name? And she told me her name. I said, I apologize. I said, I'm sorry for what you're going through in your marriage, and I would never add to that chaos. And it's not my intention. I said, and you don't have to worry about me because I'm not interested in being with a cheater. I'm not interested in being with a man that has no integrity. And had I known that this is who I have been dating, this would have ended a long time ago. I wish you luck on your healing. And her tone immediately changed, and this sisterhood energy was created. And she said, I accept your apology, and I'm sorry that you experienced a cheater. And I'm sorry that you are going to hurt the way he's hurt me. She said, but sis, we'll get over it. I've never seen her. I prayed for her. And that was my first opportunity of choosing Lisa in a messy moment. And so last time I saw him. And so I've experienced that. Wow. I know what it feels like to see the signs. And I saw the signs before, and I kept choosing green. Mm-hmm. To your point, I kept choosing green. And then yellow, and then red. And I think the best gift you can give yourself is when your intuition tells you red. Don't try to out-talk your intuition into green. Mm. If your intuition tells you red, your logic is going to try to make you make logic of it, but your intuition is going to say, this doesn't feel right. Mm-hmm. This doesn't feel right. And if it doesn't feel right, it's not right. No matter what you try to tell yourself, if it doesn't feel right, then it's not right.
I didn't know that story. Thank you so much for sharing it.
You're welcome.
And God, the honesty and transparency that you said for 8 seconds, I considered lying for him so I wouldn't blow this up. God, that's so freaking raw and real. How many of us do that? We literally go, how do I protect them instead of how do I protect myself? And then the way you were able to really kind of flip it, because I think in those moments we
Yeah.
go into a self-protective mechanism.
Yeah.
And the fact that you didn't go into let me protect myself, you were like this poor woman as well. Like, that's so
Yeah.
beautifully gracious of you. And going back to sisterhood, I fucking love it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just going to be honest. I
Yeah.
love that type of energy.
Yeah.
Where it's like, look, neither of us knew. We both freaking got played.
Yeah.
Let's be honest with each other.
Yeah.
Damn, girl.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, in infidelity in a relationship, if the person that they're cheating on you with doesn't know about you, is I truly believe there's no reason for me to be angry at her. We have one thing in common. We got the same taste in men.
Oh.
He needs to be held accountable, or she, or whatever the relationship would bring. And so I've made a commitment. I don't fight with people around my relationship. I turn to my partner, turn to your partner, and clean it up. And if they are unwilling to clean it up, don't try to put Lysol or Pine Sol on their mess, and they don't want it cleaned up because they are justifying it. There's a difference between owning and defending. And watch out when someone continuously defends their behavior versus own it. And watch out, because defending your behavior means I think I'm right or it's justified. That was a big one for me, because the smarter your partner is, the smarter they are. And I'm attracted to intellectual men. So I'm a sapiosexual. I love intellectual, smart men. Watch out when that intellect and that intelligence is used to justify poor behaviors and lack of integrity. That same intelligence that's attractive can be the same intelligence used to keep you in a toxic relationship. And watch out, because all toxicity isn't aggressive or dominating or controlling or abusive. Some toxicity and some unhealthy relationships is very mild and very low key and very backdoor and very easy, and it looks like you're leading. So watch out when you have a really brilliant person you're in a relationship with. Make sure that their brilliance is inspiring you to expand. Because if your relationship doesn't inspire you to expand, then it's requiring you to contract. If your relationship isn't inspiring you to expand, and you should be in a relationship that gives you space for the woman you're becoming, not requiring you to be the person that you used to be. So if you got in a relationship 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that's fine, but they need to love the next version of you. They need to love your evolution and not hold you hostage to who you've always been. Love my evolution, the woman I'm becoming. And I don't even know who she is, but I need you to help nurture her out. I need you to give her space to find the colors in her wings. I need you to give her permission to fall, then fly, then fall, then fly again. I need you to give her space to be brilliant. Give her space to be confused. Give her space to be audaciously confident. Give her space to be courageous. I require you love the evolution of me and not hold me confined in a box, not hold me hostage, not put me inside golden prisons. And watch out. And so I'm a stand. I'm a stand for who you and what you are becoming. And everyone who's loving you should be an advocate to that. And I'm big on relationships. I love relations. You know me, I'm a relationship girl. I love them only if they're inspiring who I'm becoming. Because if they're not, and they require me to shrink, if I gotta shrink to fit, like that shrink wrap, I gotta shrink to fit this relationship, then I outgrew it.
That was actually going to be my next question, is now taking it from the other woman's perspective, who is married to this man, finding out that there's a woman there and he's been dating her for 8 months. I obviously don't know her, don't know the scenario, but a lot of women in that will take that person back. Not saying that that's wrong, you need to do you. But then, unfortunately, sometimes what happens is you do start to shrink yourself to then make space for that toxicity. And so if someone's listening right now, let's say it's that woman at home who's just found out their partner's cheated on them, how do they make sure that they don't shrink and make it about them? Because I hate to say it, especially now with social media, most people, what they're going to do, first thing is, let me look them up and see if they're prettier than me. And that comes back to the comparison game. That comes back to now just eroding your own confidence.
Yeah. So the moment you find out you've been violated, let's just call it what it is, you've been violated, and treat it like that so that you don't put Band-Aids on it. I've been violated. So if I've been violated, there's been hurt and harm brought to my heart. So the first thing is, start taking care of your heart. Take care of your soul. Take care of yourself. That whole oxygen mask thing. So number one, there's hurt and harm present. Don't try to outrun it. Don't justify it. Don't lie about it. Let's be tender. So let's be tender with who you are. You deserve tender, loving care right now. Not necessarily from them, even though if they want this relationship or they appear to want it, they'll be very tender too. This is from you. This is from you for you, right? So what do you need right now? And you might not even be clear, so try things. You need spaciousness. You need outdoors. You need a sacred practice. You need stillness, you need breathing, you need a class that allows you to expend the energy that you have, whether that be a yoga or a qigong or a breathing class or whatever. You need something. You need spaciousness to think. You need a place to get away to and look at your life. I don't know what that list is, and so try the list.
Yeah.
Try the list. You've earned that. I'm taking care of my heart right now. Write down that statement and give that statement to anybody that needs to hear it. I'm taking care of my heart. No business as usual. What do you need right now? So give yourself what you need right now. And then the second thing is, I'm real big on affirmations that remind me who I am in the space of chaos. So an affirmation that I really love is, I trust the next chapter of my life because I know the author. I love it. I say it all the time. It's in my downstairs bathroom. I read it every time I go in that bathroom. I trust the next chapter of my life because I know the author. So know who you are in this season. You have to stand on your knowing when everything else is shaky, when everything else is up in the air. Well, how is this relationship going to end up? Where am I going to end up? How's our family going to end up? Where are our finances going to end up? There's 1,000 questions out there if you're experiencing a betrayal in a relationship. There's 1,000 questions. So let's move to what you know, right? Because all your questions are going to make the ground feel like it's a low vibration, like it's shaking a little bit. Everything you know will help to minimize that shake. So ask yourself the question, what do I know? And then go down that list. I know I'm going to be okay because I'm the author of the next chapter. I know that. I know that I bring value in a relationship, whether it's this one or another one. I know that I'm worthy. I've earned trust, and I have deserved the right to be trustworthy and to trust them. Go into your knowing. And then the third thing is, what are your non-negotiables? Regardless if they happen in this relationship or not, what are your non-negotiables? Write them out, because that's what you'll begin to compromise. That's what you'll begin to compromise to stay in the relationship, to not lose it, to keep peace. To keep peace. You can't keep peace when there's no peace within. So you often won't say what you need to say to keep peace, but there's no peace because you don't have peace within. You're just keeping peace in the relationship without peace within. There's really no peace. There's just a bunch of withholds. So what are your non-negotiables? And then the last thing I would say is, make a declaration of what you deserve. Stick it on your bathroom mirror. And if you share a bathroom with someone and it's hard for you to have those deserves out publicly, then that's a relationship that doesn't serve you.
Oh, that's the red flag.
That's a big old red light on your car. Yeah. Red light, go run. Put your deserves on the bathroom mirror so that you see them and anybody else walking by sees them. And then I would say I'm real big on emotionally safe space. You create a safe space online. This is a safe space. I know it because I'm in it with you and I see how it feels. You need a safe space to speak your truth and to get out. But you need someone, I call it a safe space. For me, it's girlfriends like you, like Danita, like JJ. You need a safe space to speak out and allow that truth to land without any need to do anything right now, but just so you can see it outside of your body. And let your cells tell you, what do I feel like I need to do? I might be scared to do it, but you have to realize that fear doesn't have to dissipate before you take action.
Oh.
You get to move with fear. And when you move with the fear actually dissipates because it's replaced by reality and action. So if you're afraid of how things are, you're afraid of how they're going to be, that's okay. Still move, still take action, because action dissipates fear. Fear, people think they're waiting to stop being afraid to move, and fear is waiting for you to move to dissipate. And so, yeah, I think the key thing is to know that you're worthy of healthy love. You're worthy of loyalty. You're worthy. And if you are accepting something other than that, then let's go heal you. Let's work on you. Let's fill you up. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not broken. You're not broken.
That was so powerful. All right, I got a few more red light, green lights if you're cool with that.
Yeah, I would want some.
All right, so let's move on. So you've been dating for years, but he still says he's not ready for commitment.
I would run if the level of commitment they're giving me is unfulfilling. I would run if I'm not fulfilled, because you deserve to be fulfilled in your relationship. And don't give someone another year of your life of being unfulfilled. But if the level of engagement is fulfilling for you, then I'd stay. I'd stay because you're fulfilled. I'm the type of woman, I didn't require formal commitment. I just didn't require, I'm a butterfly. I was actually the one more afraid to commit. So I was that person. Like, I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't know what formal looks like. I'm not gonna post relationship pictures about us. I never posted a picture of my husband and I until he was my fiance. It's just how I'm wired. But I constantly asked him, are you fulfilled? Do you need anything else from me? So I think the question is, are you fulfilled? So if you're not fulfilled, because don't get caught up in a label that someone else gives you that calls it commitment. Because that's what we as women do. We read the outline of what a committed, loyal, amazing relationship looks like, and then we force our partners, or we keep pushing until we get that list. Have your own list. Bump what anybody else is saying about a relationship and what it needs. You are a unique, unrepeatable miracle. You got your own DNA. You're the only one with your fingerprint. And so what do you need? Make your list. And then if your partner gives you that list, they give you everything in that list, girl, don't get caught up in the label. Don't let society dictate to you what a committed relationship looks like. But make sure you're not compromising what you want.
Right.
Make sure you're not compromising what you need to fit what he's willing to give. Watch out, because we have a tendency to modify our list based on what they're willing to give. This is all I want. Or is it really? Or is that all he's giving? So you shrunk your list. Shrink to fit. Don't shrink to fit. Make your list. And if he's willing to fulfill that list, if she's fulfilling that list, then live it out. But if that list isn't being met, red light, run. Period.
Amen, sister. Oh my God,
Amen and a woman.
I love you so much. Okay, we've got the next one. He says he loves you, but every time you try to talk about the future, he just changes the subject.
You know I'm a deep chick.
Oh, yes.
Right? You know, so nothing's black and white for me. Everything has layers, and I like the layers. I'm not a snorkeler. I don't play at the surface. I'm a scuba diver. I go down and deep. So I drive my husband crazy with this because I ask these really deep questions. And my husband is from British origin, right? He's from the Bahamas. So all this deep, layered, gooey stuff is like, like, so I married the opposite of me in behavior, but a definite compliment. Much like you said about Tom, you guys have differences, but you found your love and you honor each other's differences.
Yeah.
So
the other day I said to him, do you want to talk about your emotions? And he looked at me, he's like, you're thinking of you. I was like, okay, fair enough. And I moved on.
Right. So with my husband, I'm like, let's talk. When we get in bed, let's talk. And he's like, it's going to be deep, huh? He goes, Lisa, just don't talk about stuff that makes my eyes want to leak. Like he doesn't and I still do. So if you want, every time you want to talk about the future and he wants to change the subject, I'd go to the layer deeper to go, what about future conversations make you nervous?
Oh.
We also have a tendency as women to make everything about us. We make everything about you don't love me, you don't. When I learned to ask different questions to my husband, I begin to see it through a different set of lens. Mm-hmm. So I love you, girl. You know that. I love you. I'm a groper. I want to hug you. Mm-hmm. And that's my girlfriends and my
we sit on each other's laps
when
we go out to dinner and stuff.
I love it. Come on. And so I love you, girl. My husband never would say I love you.
Oh.
He didn't say I love you. And I was like, he doesn't love me. I just made it, he doesn't love me. And I asked him a question one night. I said, what in your childhood experience would you have liked to have changed that shapes how you show up now in this relationship? And he said, I never heard I love you in my household. So I'm used to not saying it. I'm not comfortable saying it. And I wished I said it. It was easier for me to say because I could say it to you easier. So I never knew that he had a longing to say I love you, but he didn't know how to say it. Didn't experience it. It was difficult. He goes, I think it in my head, but I miss the moment all the time with you. And so I went, so now I can ask different questions. So to someone who changes the subject about the future, I would ask different questions about the security of future. What does future mean to you? What does future conversations do to you about anything? How far out in the future do you think about anything?
Oh, so for instance, if he thinks about career and he's thought 20 years ahead or where he wants to be, but he hasn't in relationship, that's a bit of a...
That's a signal. It's a signal. So my husband, I'm a future planner. So I'm always thinking out in the future. And my husband didn't. Just that same, my husband didn't. That wasn't a part of his thinking and planning in general. It wasn't just about relationship. It was also around his career it was the same. He knew it was going to be the same. He's a newscaster. He was going to retire being a newscaster. Like, I'm good. This is set. Versus me, I'm 3-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan. And so part of it could be just their makeup and behavior. And then I extend invitations. Could I invite you to consider future casting conversations about our relationship? Now the invitation is a yes or no answer. That will give you green, yellow, or red. So I began to not push with my husband and extend invitations where I felt resistance. I see that this isn't your norm. Can I extend an invitation to you to talk about financial future? That's going to be a yes, a no, or a yes, but I'm not comfortable with it. Yes, but it's new for me. So I learned how to ask a better question to my husband, and I got a lot more information about his origin, about his DNA, about his environment. I didn't know that his environment wasn't to be intimate until I learned that. And now we've been together for years, and random I love yous from him. I love you, babe. I love you, Mrs. Hall. That's our last name. I love you, Lisa. And so now he's learned because we had that conversation. And I said, it's important to me. it's important to me to hear I love you. And I want to invite you to consider, though you never said it and you didn't hear it, to begin to say it. And he said, okay. Like a healthy grown folk conversation. It's important to me. And then I said, when you feel like you can't say something, you want to say it, but you can't say it, because he said he always missed these moments. I want to say it, Lisa, but I missed the moment. He goes, I'm still getting the courage, but I missed the moment. And then you walk out the room and I go, darn, Marcella, she missed it again. And I went, oh. And I said, well, can I invite you when you want to say something, but it's still coming up. He's shaping the words. And my husband's a thinker. He reads 5 books a month, right? Oh. So he's a thinker. I said, can I invite you to touch me? And randomly, I just get a hand on my leg, and I go, oh, he's saying something to me. And so there's ways that's not so black and white of what you need to get what you need by going through another door. And I'm not trying to make him the man I need him to be. I'm just inviting him into space, growth, and the opportunity. But if ever he said no to the invitation, like, no, I don't want to entertain that. Okay, that's a yellow light that has the right to turn into a red light based on, are my needs being met?
That was a beautiful story, by the way. And as you were talking, what dawned on me is there's these phases of building confidence. So if you feel broken, just the idea of doing one thing by yourself is like, oh my God, I can't believe the confidence I have. You even said it earlier, right? Just enough to take a shower. Mm-hmm. Then there's the next stage where you do the self-work and you really work on yourself so that you're not relying on someone else, that your happiness is built by you, love all that. Then there's the next stage where you are now so confident you're able to give yourself over and be vulnerable and risk getting hurt again. So in that story that you just said, the thing that really shone a light was you didn't go, oh, he doesn't say I love you, well, I'm out. I've dealt with so many assholes in my life. I'm not going to stick around for someone not to say I love you. I'm out the door. You didn't do that. You literally gave your vulnerability over to him to see if he would receive it or not. Yeah. And the scary thing is sometimes people don't receive it. Yeah. And so now you find yourself all the way back at square one again. Yeah. What are the things that you had to do that took you from just being like confident to really being able to be vulnerably confident?
Yeah. I appreciate you saying scary, because it's scary. Your heart, our heart, my heart, our hearts are tender. And I picture my heart as when I'm 3 years old and all I get is love from all the adults around me. It's shiny and it's strong, and over the years with every heartbreak, there's like this little nick. And then I get to my now husband, but as my boyfriend, I was dating him, and my heart shows little indications of every time I was hurt. As much as that's a sobering thought, courage is seeing all the little nicks and then trusting yourself in love again, and not making your next pay for your ex, right? And so scary is right, because my heart has all this history. My heart is a big memory bank. My heart is a big memory bank, and it's so much easier to just say, I don't trust. It's so much easier, as lonely as it could be. It feels easier in the moment. It wasn't easy to ask him for what I wanted. It wasn't easy to ask him, only because all my fear storms were rising. But here's what I know. If you want to get something different, you have to be willing to do something different. In that moment, I realized that the former version of me would stay quiet, because I've already done that. So I knew what that got me. And so to lean into audaciously courageous and audacious confidence was to take stock of what got me here, and to realize that relationships with the same behaviors will repeat themselves, just with a different person. And so I knew what I had already done in the past. Stay quiet, suffer in silence, and hope it gets better. Hope he gets a memo from the universe. That didn't work before. I am the memo. I am the memo of how to love me. And so I was trying something different. I love that you talk about this piece because I remember sitting in bed wanting to tell him something, and he's in the other room, and I'm like mustering up the courage, talking to myself, like, come on, girl, you trust you. And I'd say, can we talk? And he goes, sure. And I go, he's gonna come, and then he'd show up. And I remember in the moment looking up at him, oh gosh, looking up at him and saying, I so want this to work with him, but I'm not willing to compromise my truth. Because more than I want him, I need to keep me. Right in that moment. And then I'd out myself. I go, so I'm a little nervous because this is a new practice for me. I just out myself. And he
That
goes,
probably like lowered your anxiety, right?
way. And it leaned his compassion in. He goes, oh, okay. And he goes, it's okay. What do you want to talk about? I go, okay. And I'd look away and I go, so, and he'd see I was a little nervous, and he doesn't see me nervous often. And so courageousness and confidence doesn't always come out like bold and it got bling on it. It's like sometimes it's shaky. But speak even when your voice shakes. Speak with a shaky voice. A shaky message is better than a bold silence. A shaky voice is more powerful than a truth untold. So I spoke with a shaky voice. And then it stopped shaking because I kept using it. If your voice shakes when you speak your truth, keep speaking your truth, and your voice will stop shaking. And so I looking up at him, as much as I love being with him, I needed to feel proud of me for me. I'm the only one that's been in every relationship I've been in. I'm the only one that's been in every relationship. So I know the pattern of who I've been. So I'm the only one that can break a pattern that doesn't serve me. And in that moment, sitting in bed, looking up at him in the Bahamas in 2020 during COVID, knowing I risked it all to move to the Bahamas for love. And I didn't want the embarrassment of coming back to the US saying another love lost. I didn't want that, but I didn't mind that over saying I didn't show up for Lisa. The cost of not showing up for Lisa is far greater than any public embarrassment, any admission that a relationship didn't work. I wanted to say, I showed up for Lisa. That was more important to me than any of the optics. And in that moment, even though what I said could have caused him to shrink, he say, I don't want to do this. This requires too much. You're high maintenance. Whatever he could have said, none of it was more important to me than me being proud of the woman I was becoming. That, Lisa, you got one job. Protect your future memories of yourself. You got one job, sis, to protect your future memories of yourself. When you sit down in your favorite rocking chair at 97 and 98 and all you can do is reflect on your life, the choices you make now are creating the memories you will have. Protect your memories through your choices that you're making in this moment. That's what became clear to me. That's what led me into courageous, audacious confidence. My grandmother was in a relationship that turned abusive. And I witnessed, I was 12, and I watched my grandmother fight for her life. I watched my grandmother end a toxic relationship was the only grandfather I knew from that side. I watched her say, sweetheart, you will not have this granddaddy in your life anymore. I watched the way she packed her bags. After that toxic relationship, I watched my grandmother live to the fullest. I watched my grandmother tell stories of her life. I watched my grandmother, she said, baby girl, some relationships are gonna be a full course meal. You're supposed to have it for all of your life. That's you and Tom. It's a full course meal. And some relationships, baby girl, are a lunch. You're supposed to have it for a period of time to learn certain things about yourself. And some of your relationships are just gonna be a snack. She said, your job is to not mistake a full course meal for a snack, and not to mistake a snack for a full course meal. She said, know who you are and listen to your cells. Your cells will talk to you. And so when you get to 98 and 101, you got to think about the woman you were and the decisions you made and the memories you have. And that's what moves you into that audacious confidence to go, hold up, I'm writing my life story. And no one holds the pen to your life story but you. That relationship is just a chapter. You can make it multiple chapters, but you also can write another chapter if it doesn't write to the story you want to tell. That was huge for me.
Mic drop. Lisa freaking Nichols, girl. I love you so much.
I love you.
Girl, thank you so much for being here. If people want to go deeper into your world, drink in more that is Lisa, where can they go?
You can always find me on Lisa, the number 2 Motivate. And I do this, I have this boldness barometer. I'd love for you, if this conversation resonates with you, I think understanding the bold action that you're willing to take. When I was doing my one-woman show on Broadway, you know about that, I started realizing how taking bold action is big. And so I created this assessment so that you could see how bold you're playing.
Oh my God, this is
Right.
so good.
Yeah, I know.
This.
So it's in the link. I should just put in the link.
Oh my God, we will definitely, guys, you have got to go take this.
It's a boldness barometer, and
so
and it
cool.
measures how bold you're playing. And then it also gives you the 3 steps that you can take to play bolder if you find yourself, I'm a little too reserved, I'm not taking bold action. And so it really helps you to see, what does bold action look like? And so take that assessment. It's my gift. It came out of me going, what do I do? What do I do? How is it that I found myself in New York on a one-woman show? Like, what? You know, how did I create this life that's unrecognizable? What was I doing? Because I'm in my legacy years, Lisa. So I want to leave as many breadcrumbs as possible. And again, not in perfection, but in progress. And so that, I think you will get great value from that assessment.
That's so
and
cool.
Checking yourself. Yeah.
And are you going on a speaking tour?
Oh my God. Well,
come on, we got to give all the juice to the people
yeah,
watching.
So,
where can people go?
yeah, so I am starting this whole journey of, I have a book that's coming out. I'm gonna come back to you when it comes out.
Yeah. Do you have a name? Or can we tease it here? Or no,
yes.
Not yet?
Yeah, you can. You're the first public place to hear it. It's called Becoming Unforgettable.
Oh, snap!
I said it.
God.
I said it out loud. It's called Becoming Unforgettable, and my new publishing deal with Simon & Schuster.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, and it is a piece of work that I'm so excited to bring forth. Because how do you become unforgettable in your life story? Your life story, your dash between your birthday and your transition day, your dash must dance. Your dash must dance so that the dash outlives you. And then also becoming unforgettable is about being responsible for your dash. My responsibility required me to lose 100 pounds. And no one was talking about my weight. I was on Oprah, Larry King, Steve Harvey, Dr. Phil, Good Morning America, all of that. 100 pounds overweight. And I had to be responsible for my dash. And I promise you that I will come here first.
Oh my God. All right, guys, you heard it here.
I will come here first because but I am committed to being as disruptive as possible and disruptive as necessary for us to play as big as we need to play in the world. And the revolution may not be televised, but it can be podcast.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited. Thank you for inviting this conversation in, because so many women sit in silence about this. There's so much, I know personally, there's so much shame attached to this conversation. And the more we cast a light on our shadow, the more we find out, one, we're not alone. There's another sister that's climbing through that or have climbed through that. And number two, our birthright is to have joy, peace, and love on the other side of any experience that doesn't serve and honor us. It doesn't, I am not my experiences. I am not my past. I am the woman walking through that journey. So thank you for being courageous. Thank you for your audacious confidence and your unapologetic confidence and your non-negotiable confidence enough to poke a bear. Like, I'm not purring, I'm roaring. Like, don't mistake my roar for a purr because I'm soft and sweet. And so thank you for creating that space for us and for her to come out of the other side. I never saw this woman in me when I was in the mirror fighting to not have to stay on Prozac. I didn't even know this woman was in me when I was ashamed and broken and betrayed and hurt. I didn't know this woman was in me. And so thank you for creating a space for her to see who she can still become on the other side and in the face of broken agreements. She still gets to become. Nothing takes away her birthright to become. And so we are all still evolving and becoming. And we need sacred spaces to speak our truth and to give ourselves permission to get back up again and again and again, and to give ourselves 1,000 second chances. And every time we get to 999, we press reset and instantly get 1,000 more. So thank you.
Thank you, Mommy. Guys. Lisa Nichols has come on here many times, and every time she comes on, she drops so many nuggets of gold and truth bombs that I hope really is an earthquake under your feet that shakes us all awake. And like she says, the audaciousness, the courageousness is in us all. And you have the birthright to turn your purr into a freaking roar. So guys, please go pour the love onto Lisa. If you're not subscribed, smash that subscribe button down there. And until next time, be the hero of your own life. Peace.
I love you, Mama.
I love you too.
I'm gonna get chocolate all over you.
I'll take it. I'll take it. If you want to ditch your nice girl habits and learn how to be more confident in every area of your life, then you're going to want to watch this video right here with the powerful April Mason.
I would go into a place and I would look around like, let's play. And I would spot a man